you see here was when visitors would come out of the train depot, this would be their first vision of Ajo. John Greenway was the mine manager, and he's the one to build this little town in the middle of nowhere.
Unfortunately, the segregation did happen.
Believe it or not, we bought that on eBay. Really? I swear to God, we did. There to protect you, but it's not going to 100% save you.
有点阴森恐怖的感觉。
这个小镇名叫阿豪，位于亚利桑那州，距离边境不远。名字在西班牙语中意为大蒜。我路过这里时，立刻被这里独特的建筑风格和氛围所吸引。镇上不仅有基督教教堂，还有天主教教堂。主要建筑群的西班牙风格，更是出自设计加州桑塔芭芭拉的同一位建筑师之手。
OK， 我们现在就是去它这个访客中心看一下。
在广场边上就是这里的访客中心，它坐落在原来的火车站内。应该也是希望小镇继续可以人来人往的寓意吧。Bo 小的时候在阿后，现在从洛杉矶回来接管了这里访客中心主任的职务。他也是揭开了这个广场背后的故事。
It was originally the train depot built in 1916, and it is on the historic register. And it initially did have passenger trains that came to Ajo. And the idea when building this plaza and kind of building the town center that you see here was when visitors would come out of the train depot, this would be their first vision of Ajo, this little oasis out here in the middle of the desert.
Bo 还提到，这些规划和小镇的繁荣始于一位名叫 John Greenway 的军人。
Mining operations, and then the bigger companies started coming in the early 1900s. And that included John Greenway, who was the mine manager, and he's the one that kind of built this town center. This was kind of his vision, was this town center. He graduated from Yale with an engineering degree before 1900. And then he was a colonel in the Spanish-American War. Then he was a Rough Rider with Teddy Roosevelt. And then he started working with his engineer degree and came here to Ajo and built this town and started the mining operation. So he's a very accomplished man. And if you go through Tucson and Phoenix areas and other places in Arizona, you see the name Greenway as the name of a road or the name of a parkway, or you see the name quite a bit.
I see.
So they were pretty affluent people that came here to build this little town in the middle of nowhere back then, you know, in the early 1900s when it was a lot of hardship.
然后他还带我去了这里的天台，这应该是当时也是现在欣赏这个小镇最好的地方。
Wow, this you can see the whole. Yeah. See. Wow, it's very cool. 我们现在就到它后面看一看，1、2、3、4条铁轨在这边。看一下之前这边的，不知道是客流量啊，还算是运货呀什么的，应该是还挺繁忙的这边。
刚才和 Bo 聊天时就发现那2个教堂非常的扎眼，一尘不染的白色外表非常吸引人，感觉和它的名字非常的契合，圣母无原罪教堂。
哇，它这个教堂在这个早上的太阳下面真是白呀，非常的白，有点晃眼睛。哇，这门是关了，进不去。那它这只能从外面看一下了，进不去啊。应该能看见它这个上面伸出来的那根管子，就应该是它的排水系统。OK， 我们现在呢就是准备去它这个之前的 Indian Village 看一眼。OK， 我们现在到它的一个博物馆，然后我们进去看一下，看看能不能了解一些关于这边的一些知识。哦，他这是先是自己拿那个地图，他这应该是自己浏览的那种。哇，它这还有很多器具可以拿起来看一眼，像这个钉子挺重的。哇，这钉子还
在阿后博物馆里，我偶遇了来这里退休养老的前图森市警长，他现在帮忙管理这个博物馆。他和我更详细的介绍了这里矿场的起始。
The mine was started by John Greenway. He came to Ajo, Arizona. He knew that there was a good potential for a copper mine here. And him and his engineers found a water source, which they needed to produce copper. Anyway, they started producing copper ore. They mined gold and silver. This was in 1916, 1917. And the mine was very, very productive until 1984. Throughout that period of time, they mined millions of tons of ore. After it shut down in 1984, that was pretty much it.
除此之外，他还向我揭示了这里一段陈旧的往事。
Of course, there was segregation here. The Indian tribes of the Tona O'odham, the Mexican, and the Anglo population. The church where we're at right now is in Indian Village. There was 125 homes all around this church, and these were the Papago Nation. As you went further into the area where the overlook is currently, that was called Tortilla Flats, and that was there was a Mexican community there. And further up was what they called Mexican Town. And it did settle, as the years went by, but unfortunately the segregation did happen. The natives did go to school together, the Mexicans went to school together, and so on and so forth, until maybe the 40s, and then they started integrating. But prior to that, it wasn't very pretty. But these were all employees of the mine.
在博物馆外面还可以看见很多拆除后的地基，左边这片就是当时印第安人的居住地，这里还有一个房子留着，据说还是会有人过来打理这间屋子。在博物馆另外一侧，则是当时墨西哥人的居住区，现在也是原本的建筑房屋都已经被拆除，只剩下了当时的地基。
OK， 我们现在就是去它的这个可以观看它这整个采矿的这个矿坑的地方，看看它这个矿坑到底有多么壮观。我靠，它这是啥情况？人一到这儿他就关门了，进不去了。那就只能用飞机飞起来看一下，看看这里到底是什么样子。
这个露天铜矿坑直径约 1.5 英里，深达1200英尺。它曾经是美国最大的铜矿之一，在运营的74年间，雇佣了约1000到1500名工人，而且每年可以生产约5万吨的铜。现在虽然没有再继续开采这里的矿石，但它看起来依然是非常的壮观。
OK， 我现在马路对面就是他这儿的新闻出版社，这个就是刚才鲍推荐我说可以到这边看一看。它这个楼整个外面刷的都是非常有特色，能看见它这有仙人掌，还有这个原住民的一些元素在里面，非常的亚利桑那。那我们就进去看一下。
Hob 可以说是土生土长的阿猴人，他的父母在1967年时买下了这间报社，然后在1983年时 Hob 接手了过来。
And they brought the Copper News in 1968. I was 11 at the time.
Yep.
And my sister and my brother and I worked in the newspaper, and eventually my sister and I and my brother inherited the newspaper from our parents. I think we kind of took over in 1980.
虽然这个城市在 Hob 小的时候比较荒芜，但他的童年过得一样是非常有趣。
Do is go around and we'd collect pop bottles, Coke bottles, and that was litter on the highway, and we'd sell them at convenience stores for 2 cents a piece, and we'd buy comic books and soda pop, and so I was like a typical kid. I think a lot of kids love reading comic books, and I would read science fiction.
他和我说，他现在这里的报纸是在这里排版，然后拿到图森市打印。
We print 1,000 newspapers each week.
How many you can sell them?
I'd say we'd sell 80% of our newspapers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good.
And we have 400 digital subscribers.
作为当地仅存的报纸，他还带我看了他们收藏旧报纸的地方。只是因为时间太久，报纸变得非常脆弱，不方便打开展示。
Try to put in events like births and deaths and weddings, and things that happen to the people, and like a community bulletin board.
在一起与他办公室的 Katie 聊天时，发现这个小镇没有专业的消防员，而是由他们自己组织了一个志愿者消防队。
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, Katie to participate. I'm not. I'm not a volunteer firefighter, but Katie and her husband JD are very active in serving the community that way. And like the volunteer firefighters, they don't get paid for it or nothing. So it's quite of a investment of time and effort with no reward for other people in the community.
So many people put their time and effort into doing so much in this town, and then everybody kind of knows what we need.
哇，我现在在这个阿后的 Volunteer Fire Department， 然后一会儿那个 Katie 老公会带我参观一下他这里面。哇，这个好新的这个救火车啊！不知道这个是不是 Katie 她老公把这门打开的？哇，太酷了！
JD 是土生土长在阿后，他已经服务社区20多年。小镇一共同时有12名志愿者消防员。
And we all have full-time jobs, full-time employment, and we do this because we love our town and do what we can.
While you were working, you get a message. How you gonna respond to that? Or?
A lot of it's employer-based. Some of our guys have employers that say, you know, I'd rather you not leave during work.
Yeah, I know.
Most of our guys are employers. They have no problem. They understand. They're like, hey, see you later. 3 of my guys actually work in the shop for the Border Patrol as mechanics, and another one of them is in the office.
Yeah.
Their bosses are absolutely fantastic. They're like, hey, you gotta go. Community first.
Wow.
So it works out really well. My full-time job, I'm a paramedic out on the reservation, so I actually work 70 miles from here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't really respond from my work, but I'm off quite a bit of the time, so I'm one of the guys that's able to come down here quite a bit. Luckily, a lot of our guys are able to come down quite often.
Wow, that's very nice.
Yeah, we've got some great guys, and I got some great.
听他说完，突然感觉他很像是和超人一个工种，都是上着半截班，然后就去救人了。因为没有县里资金的支持，他们是多靠募集捐款来支撑花销。也是因为预算问题 ，JD 就从eBay上淘了一辆消防车。
The one next to it, our Engine 11, believe it or not, we bought that on eBay.
Really?
We did. Swear to God, we did. We try to keep them as updated as we can. We do a lot of washing, a lot of waxing. We don't have a huge fleet. We don't have a modern fleet, but what we have, we do our best to take very good care of. So we've put a lot of work into this. Wow. I'll fire it up real quick so we can pull it out.
Wow. 哇，第一次坐在这个消防车里面。
在每个座位上还有一个氧气瓶，这个看起来可不轻。
It's breathing air.
Oh, breathing.
And so we have a compressor in a building behind it that every time we're done with the fire, we can go refill the tanks. They're about 4,400 to 4,500 psi, and it's just regular breathing air, but it's filtered through the machine. And depending on how well a shape you're in, they'll either last you about 30 minutes or so. And which is a pretty good time because about that time you're ready to take a little break, a little rest, and then they're designed. Let me show you real quick. Yep. Quick change.
Oh.
So we can switch out air tanks and go right back in without much of a delay.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, and they're heavy, but they're a ton lighter than the old one.
It's not light at all. Oh wow.
在他屋内还有一个刚退出的救火队员的服装装备。JD 说和我的尺寸很相仿，可以试一下。
Wow, it's very in summer. How can you guys?
It's very hot.
It is.
Very
you
hot.
like dehydrated really fast. Oh my.
Yeah, one of the most miserable fires I ever participated in was in July. It was about 115 outside.
Wow.
I don't know what that translates to Celsius, but it was hot. And at the end of I was hurting. I think I drank 2 gallons of water that night, and I didn't pee for 2 days. It was horrible.
My God. That's crazy.
But yeah, you can see that it's heavy, and They don't breathe, so even when you are sweating, you can't sweat it out anywhere.
It's pretty much just the material outside, like waterproof. I mean, fireproof, and then make it unbreathable.
It's not so much fireproof. It'll protect you to, I don't know what these are rated at right now, but I want to say around 2,000 degrees for so many minutes. So if you get yourself in a bad spot, like the fire flashes over on you or something like that, you're going to be protected to an extent. You're not fireproof. It'll get you eventually. And I've had jackets burnt, arms burnt. I had a helmet completely melted, burnt on my head one time. So it's there to protect you, but it's not going to 100% save you.
最后，JD 还是和我说，他一直谨记着老一辈人的座右铭。
That man over there, there's no picture with it, but that's his uniform shirt. He was well into his 80s when he still responded to calls. And he would tell us, I might be 80 and I might be on a cane, but if you call for help and you go down, I'm going to drag you out of there. And I believed him. And he did right up until he physically couldn't do it anymore, because that was the passion that both of those gentlemen had for this community and for this department.
最后让我没想到的是 Bo、Hop 还有 JD 他们竟然都是 Curly School 的校友，这个就让我很好奇他们的学校到底是什么样子的。不过我看完之后确实是跟我想象中的不大一样。
哇，他这个这是有点阴森恐怖的感觉。前面这个门上面这个所有的贴图，这个有点小恐怖。不过我天，你看它这个上面吊灯还在闪啊，气氛比较诡异感觉。现在我就是在它这个走廊里面，它这墙上有很多装饰品，这写的是 Hangman， 这个是吊起来的男人。它这怎么都是这种主题，感觉很恐怖啊！它这个气氛有点怪怪的。哇，它这是把整个这个娃娃给肢解了。就是也不知道住这儿的人晚上从这儿走过，得是个什么心情。反正要是我的话，不是特别敢。哇，这个娃娃连脸都没有，但是他写的这个目的还是很好的。他写的是让我们能平静下来，而这个娃娃是可以照顾所有东西的一个象征，但是样子可不是很友好啊。OK， 我们现在去他这个图书馆看一下。他这个图书馆还不错，他这个阳光进来还是挺明亮的。哇，他这个地板走起来吱吱的响啊。我们看他这边具体都是什么书。哦，他这个是诗歌之类的。这个是国家地理，这边都是小说什么的。我们到他这窗户这儿看一眼。哇，从他这边正好可以看见前面这个广场。哇，这边景色还是不错。哇，他这还有2个钢琴。哇，还可以响呢。就已经开了，这木头都开了，我靠！不能随便动，感觉这个年久失修的样子，一动都会塌掉的。OK， 这里差不多了，我们去别的地方看看。
临走前一定要体验一下这个 Thin Loop Drive， 这个可是 Bob、Hop 还有 JD 极力推荐的一个来这里必去的一个项目，很有亚利桑那的特色。
我们现在就已经开了一段时间了，进到它这个有风景的车道这边，然后现在就是能看见我这前面就是风景特别的好，有山啊，有石头啊，然后还有大片的仙人掌，还有不同种类的，像那个 Sakura， 还有这个 Organ Pipe。我还是能看见它这边就是露营人还是挺多的，看意思要是在这边露营的话是非常好的一个地方。它这是专门给露营准备了这个车道，可以专门让他们有地方待。可以看我这牌子就是
最长可以待14天，每一个地方。
所以 Bo 推荐的这个地方还是可以的，很值得一来。
也就是在这个 Loop Drive 不远的山顶上，发现了纪念曾经建设这里的 John Greenway 的十字架。这个十字架是 Greenway 的妻子用他葬礼上的花混合制成的，并且特意放在了这里的最高点，可以俯视他曾经付出了很多的城市和他辛苦经营的矿场。整个小镇很平静，而且也很安逸，不难想象为什么曾经离开这里的人都会陆陆续续的回来。
And I know it is for a lot of people that can't wait to come back to their hometown.